Hey, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. I'm Michael Pachter. Glad to have you here. Hope you're watching this real time as a patron on our Patreon page. If you are contributing, thank you so much. Please, any little extra pennies you can pledge. Shane's dying here. I'm afraid that I'm going to have to go away and find a real job if you don't continue to support Shane. And if you are watching on YouTube as a subscriber, thank you so much. Please also remember to link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account. They will pay us. It costs you nothing, and the instructions are in the show description below. If you're doing none of those things, you better be following me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. Our question today from Patreon from James Hilt. Nintendo Switch is a great handheld gaming device, but I would still love to access xCloud, Microsoft's xCloud gaming on it. Why would Nintendo say no? It can make a cut off each game sale, and most of the games are incapable of running natively on Switch. Some publishers have already released cloud-based versions of games for Switch, like Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed. Would it lead to reduced sales of Nintendo's games on the console? What kind of rev share makes sense for both sides? Look, xCloud theoretically will work on any screen. So you can play it on your laptop, you can play it on your TV. You should be able to play it on your Switch. Obviously, Nintendo won't let that happen. I'm not sure I understand why you want to play it on your Switch, because you need a persistent internet connection in order to play xCloud. So why not just play it on your TV? Your couch is just as comfortable and use a controller. I don't really understand it, but okay. I'm not suggesting that. I still think Nintendo should allow it, but I don't. If you can play on any screen, Microsoft shouldn't care enough to force them. But the answer is, it's sort of like cross-platform play for Fortnite. Why didn't Sony allow it when they first offered it? It took them a while to agree. And then cross-platform for Call of Duty, Sony said no at first, and then they said okay. All these guys are just fiercely protecting their own walled garden. So Nintendo is fiercely protective of the Switch, and they want to vet anything that shows up on Switch. And I get it. So I know why Sony's saying no. The cut off each game sale on xCloud, xCloud, I guess you can buy games. xCloud is both Game Pass, xCloud, and purchase games. The cut that Nintendo would make would be peanuts. So no. It's Microsoft, if it's first party, the download service gets 30%, and Microsoft is the download service for an Xbox game. And there's no way they would give more than 10 percentage points to Nintendo. Not enough money for them to screw up the console. I don't think they would do that. Yeah, for third parties will ultimately pressure Nintendo if there's enough consumer demand for it. And as I said, because it works on any screen, I don't know why you need the Switch to do it. It's in Microsoft's roadmap to make them work on any screen. The trick is, it's any place Game Pass works. And so on the record, in front of 40 witnesses, I asked Tim Stewart at Microsoft, the Xbox CFO, will Game Pass work without an Xbox? And he said, yes. And I said, because I don't use any CPUs in the house. He said, yes. And I go, so could I play it on my TV? And he said, yes, but not yet. And this is just them working out TV protocol. It'll work on any screen.
Yeah.
It's just they have to work out. The problem is with phones, it's iOS or Android, so it's really easy. So they have to write to two protocols. And with TVs, they have to write to Samsung, LG. The way to make it work is just sign a deal with Roku. Because then it's one device and it'll work. If they sign a deal with Roku, 30 million people in the U.S. suddenly can play on their TV. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a big market.
Yeah. So it's going to work on your TV. But again, Nintendo...
Okay, with that in mind, do you think Nintendo will ever allow it on its screens?
Ever? Sure. They just need consumer pressure and publisher pressure, and it has to make business sense to them. One thing I really like about Nintendo, I think they're super smart about protecting their proprietary systems, and they'll make the right decision for them, which is different from Sony pulling out E3. They're making the wrong decision. Nintendo is actually making the right decision to protect their IP. So it'll happen.
Why do you think the cut would be so small for Nintendo with xCloud?
Because
if you're selling Ubisoft's new Assassin's Creed, why wouldn't you get a nice little chunk of change?
Well, they give the retailer 30%, but if you're buying it through xCloud, that 30% has to be split with Microsoft.
Still, it's 15 maybe.
Maybe.
That's not bad, right?
I said 10, so 15.
Yeah.
Okay, great. $9? Who cares?
That still adds up, man.
No, not on the Switch. It won't. More people will just play on their TV, and Microsoft will take the whole 30%.
Have to buy an extra controller to play on your TV.
Yeah. But honestly, do you have to? Or
Yeah.
will any controller work?
Will Microsoft license its controller work?
Will
on
my
the TV?
Xbox One controller work?
Maybe.
It will. It's Bluetooth. Anything Bluetooth will work. Thanks for joining us on this week's Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. And thank you for your patronage on Patreon. Thank you for your subscription on YouTube. Thank you for linking your Prime account to your Twitch Prime account so that we can get paid. And thanks for following me on Twitter. All four are fine. You can do all of the above, and we appreciate it. See you next time. You know what I did yesterday? Again, who knew this happened? I pulled up Amazon Prime, and at the bottom of the screen it said, "Ask your Echo device to show you documentary movies." So I go, "Alexa, show me documentary movies," and Alexa goes, "I sense that you have an Amazon Prime app running. May I access it?" And I said, "Yes." And then, boom, documentary movies. It's like total voice control of my screen, and I never did any on my LG TV.
Yeah.
I never did anything to my TV or my Roku device to prep Alexa.
Yeah.
It just figured it out.
That LG TV, dude, those TVs are cool.
It's a great TV.
Are you happy that you bought it now?
I'm not using the browser, though. I went to a Roku device.
Yeah.
The browser is shitty.
But it doesn't matter. Like, everything with that TV, it just freaking works.
Yeah.
Like, you just plug it in, and it just works exactly how you want it to.
But you can do Echo. You can use Amazon.
Yeah, it works with everything.
But I'm saying I didn't have to set it up.